Evil Squid Comics podcast. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network.
Don.
Scott.
Andrew. The Moon is Following Us, Volume 2.
Volume 2.
The end.
The end of everything and all things. Yeah, so this is the one in which there's a little girl in like this coma or comatose state, and the parents are going into her mind and kind of the, what would you say, nightmare lands to
like
try
her
to
dream world.
her dream world to
Sure.
try to save her. I felt like, wow. So overall, I like the idea, and I think it wraps up okay, you know,
Yeah.
and. It is one of those things where I don't know how far they could have really taken it. But in some ways, I also feel the second half just felt rushed.
Yeah.
But there again, I say rushed, but I don't know where more they were going to go with things either. I mean, at the end of the day, there was like a double cross that happened at the end of Volume 1 where somebody that was trying to help them was basically using them to save their own daughter, their own child. And this one kind of picks up on that, but then it gets into a lot of kind of the fears of the parents influencing some of the nightmares of the daughter, or what they're fighting even in the daughter's dream world.
Yeah.
You know, some interesting concepts in there, you know, kind of how the sins of the parents can sometimes follow their offspring, you know, depending on our own, you know, emotional wounds and baggage that we have, and how it can sometimes carry on with our kids. But with that, I just felt like it flew in some ways, but in other ways it was like I felt like it was too rushed in some areas, but then again I also felt like, well, maybe they just need to wrap this up. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, I didn't feel like there was a lot there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of pages of them fighting stuff in this dream world that are cool to look at, but as far as important to the story, it's kind of just a lot of filler of action sequences. And you have this core emotional story, but it's not that complex.
It's not.
There's really one big twist, like you said, at the end of the first volume, and there's another kind of big twist on this one where you have some trauma of one of the parents that's kind of unresolved, which I think they make a big deal out of.
Well, they do, but they don't.
Yeah, they do, but they don't.
You know, they make this big deal about something, but then they really don't go into it very deep. Now, you can make your own assumptions about it, which is okay, fine, if you want to go there. But it was something that was traumatic enough to this person that it really, to the parent, that it damn near, you know, it pretty much, what would you say? It really is a life-altering, you know, somewhat event there for him.
Yeah.
That is very little explained. So it's just kind of strange in that. But Daniel Warren Johnson still does a good job of pulling the heartstrings, you know. He does have a good way, even in something in which I feel like maybe wasn't either explained to the way that I wanted or felt strangely paced, that I still found myself, you know, pulled in a little bit emotionally. Yeah. You know, and was that because of how Volume 1 was? Because Volume 1 I thought was an excellent setup. Yeah. For everything, and I really liked it. Volume 2, just something didn't quite hit for me there. Yeah. But yet, I still felt like it ended pretty dang well. I felt.
Yeah, he kind of stuck the ending, the landing a little bit, but I thought getting there was just not, like I said, someone was off with the pacing, or I just didn't care. There was just a lot of flash bang and not a lot of a lot of substance.
Yeah. In some ways there is.
And I like Riley Rossimo and I like Daniel Warren Johnson, but I do think going between the two is a little jarring sometimes and doesn't always work.
From an art perspective, yeah.
I mean, because I think Daniel Warren Johnson is much better with, like, the emotion, you know, drawing that stuff. And that's why he draws all the, like, stuff in the real world, right? Yeah. And I think that works pretty well. But I think the Riley Rossimo stuff is cool to look at, and I enjoy his art, but it doesn't have the same emotional weight, I don't think.
I would agree. It is a little bit more flashy, but that's in the dream world too.
Exactly. So, I mean, not a lot's really happening.
But yeah, that's the thing, is that some things in there, you know, it's some setup, but you're right. In some cases in that dream world, it is missing some of the emotional impact. There's just like a pure shonen fighting type of scenario. Yeah. And the emotional weight really is more in the real world. Yeah. And and how it all ends up. But it's good. I don't want it to.
It's not bad.
I think part of it is the fact that the first half was really, really good, and this one, it just felt, not quite as solid. And compared to other things of Daniel Warren Johnson, he'd been on a hot streak. I don't know that this was quite as strong as some of his previous things, but it's still a decent read and above your average fare.
Yeah, it's definitely decent and it's pretty good. Daniel Warren Johnson has set a pretty high bar.
He has.
And I think now this one didn't quite hit that bar for me. So
yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just he's way up here, and this is just
that's
like
right.
you said. It's above average, but it's not like it's.
It didn't quite hit my expectations, but it was still very good.
Yes.